Shut up and sit down.
Hello.
People of Earth and beyond. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Overreaching podcast.
The podcast where we are not eligible to actually talk about these topics, but we're going to anyways.
Totally overreaching. Thus, overreaching with
the
Caleb
podcast.
And Sarah. I am Sarah Rodden.
And I'm Caleb Finley.
And we have no business doing this, but we are anyway. So
let's do it.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about what we're doing?
So what we're going to be talking about is week to week. Actually, bi-weekly, I guess we've decided.
No, every other week.
That is bi-weekly.
No, bi-weekly is twice a week.
Oh.
Every other week.
Okay, every other week. Whatever. We're going to be talking about different topics as far as the supernatural, what's going on in politics, what's happening in pop culture, and
anything we want, because that's what you do when you're overreaching.
Yep.
You shoot for the stars and beyond.
Let's do it.
So this week we're talking about First, we're doing what
Yes.
we're excited about because we didn't switch it. We can edit that because that's what we can do with technology.
I say, let's not edit this first episode because that'll give us more minutes. Duh.
Okay, so we're going to every week, every other week, every
Ha.
time we're on the air, whatever.
We're
We're going to tell you what we are excited about. So you can take them as recommendations or you can't. You can just take them as us oversharing about our lives. So
exactly.
You can go first.
Oh, you didn't tell me I was going first.
Fine,
okay.
I can go first.
Okay, do it.
Okay.
Because I have to think of one still.
By the time this comes out, we will have already seen it, but I'm so excited to see Get Out.
Yes.
The previews have been up since October. I think was the first time I saw it. And I am so excited. I've been waiting so long, and I'm very scared that I have built this up way too much in my mind, and it's going to suck, and then I'm going to be crushed. But I'm so excited. I think it looks so, unique compared to a lot of the horror films that have been coming out lately.
Well, not only that, but, with Blumhouse, their production value has, just completely, been amazing recently. And I have not been to, granted, yes, The Visit wasn't necessarily the best movie that they produced,
But
but
that was M. Night Shyamalan.
exactly,
He's
Shyamalan ding dong. He's
working his way back up there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've been super impressed with Blumhouse lately, and I'm super excited. And now it's kind of gotten to a point where when I see Blumhouse's name on something, I'm really excited. I'll give it a chance because they've had Insidious.
Is it Blumhouse or is it called
It's
Blumhouse? There is a U in it.
Please call it Blumhouse.
Blumhouse.
Please.
Blumhouse Productions. Well, technically the founder, his name is Jason Blum. So technically it could be Blumhouse.
God.
Did I just
I think I'm about to die. You just made my brain explode.
Good. I've always wondered that. I've always called it Blumhouse, but maybe it's Blum.
But when society rules on something, much like Voldemort was supposed to be Voldemort,
That's true.
we make it so.
Yeah.
Muggle is part of the dictionary now, so it can be Blumhouse if we want it to be Blumhouse.
I guess. I don't necessarily know many people who have discussed the name of the production company other than nerds like us.
Welcome to groundbreaking material.
Yes. Goodness.
Okay,
So,
what are you excited about right now?
mine hasn't happened yet because I'm excited about it,
you.
which again, it's a movie. And I'm probably going to be talking about this a lot, just to forewarn you, Sarah, and the listeners.
You know what it is.
I am very excited for Beauty and the Beast, which comes out
Shocking.
March 17th. Because they just released a new preview over the weekend
So good.
of Emma Watson and the cast singing Belle, which is the opening number. And I literally, I've been waiting for this movie since Disney first was in pre-production.
This is Caleb's favorite Disney movie,
Yeah.
which you will learn is saying a lot because he loves all Disney. Are there any Disney movies you don't like?
I don't like Bolt, which is weird because Miley
That's a
Cyrus
Disney
is
movie?
not. Yeah, it's a Disney animation
I
movie.
have no idea. I just assumed it was a talking animal, so I assumed it was
Dreamhouse.
DreamWorks.
Dreamhouse.
Dreamhouse. That is another
It's Blumhouse.
There is
their new
Dreamhouse
division.
production, isn't there?
Is there? I don't know. Let's look it up.
I think that there is Dreamhouse. It might be
Dreamhouse.
other horror movie stuff. There's a horror movie called Dreamhouse with Daniel Craig.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not a thing. But yeah, so Beating the Beast, March 17th. I've been following it literally since day one. And we've gone through many people as far as casting. I talk about it like I was a part of
all
it.
the meetings. He works there. It's
I'm
fine.
just in the in the corner taking notes.
He's like, let's see, who should we cast for that? Angelina Jolie?
Right.
No, we already went through that with Maleficent.
Oh my gosh, we will not even talk about. Well, we might have a Disney podcast.
Yeah,
we kind of have to.
I don't know that much about Disney.
I will school you. It's fine.
That sounds aggressive.
Good. It should.
Okay.
But Beauty and the Beast is what I am excited about. So definitely go see it March 17th if you haven't caught that.
You work for Disney. We are not getting paid for this.
Yeah, I just really love
Disney,
it.
If you happen to be listening,
hey, if you want to hook up,
sponsorship, like we'd be down.
Yeah, I totally work. I will work for free movie tickets.
I'm a little bit less easy than you.
I mean, you know.
I know you're easy. It's fine. Okay, so that is what we are excited about, and we are major like movie fans, so it's probably mostly going to be movies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, our main topic this week is urban legends, and originally we were going to do one from our homes. One of us was going to do our home state, which is Illinois, and one of us was going to do Tennessee, which is where we currently live. But we scrapped that, which we still might do at some point.
Yeah, it was weird looking at all the different urban legends. I mean, from Illinois, there was some very strange ones that I've never heard of.
Not a lot of like Tennessee specific.
Yeah,
I found a couple that I was like, okay, but then other ones I was like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, like the Bell Witch is a really big one down here in Tennessee that actually happened maybe an hour and a half south from here.
I came up with that. I think I came across that one.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
We'll have to do that one sometime. Okay. But yeah, as far as Illinois, I mean, I don't know. It was really difficult to come up with some.
Especially like I know we have more haunted places than what was on the list because I went to the oldest high school, whichever side of the Mississippi we're on. I don't remember. And that's always
the west side of the Mississippi.
There we go.
Right?
West. I don't know.
Or is it the east? Oh gosh.
I don't know.
We're not
geography.
Geographists.
Geography majors.
That thing. I don't know. Maybe.
All right. Anyway, but so we've got some urban legends that are just random ones. Do you want to go first since I went first for favorites?
Sure. So my first one is actually one that I learned about from another podcast, which I'm sure that Sarah is going to also talk about, lore. And as soon as I heard about it, I was like, what in the world is this? I've never heard of it before. And it ended up being like talked about in a couple of like TV shows that I watch and crazy. But his name is Spring-Heeled Jack.
I knew you were going to do this one. I came across it and I was like, we talked about it. I knew he's obsessed with it. And I was like, I'll pass it up. I know Caleb's going to do it. I know.
Well, the interesting thing is like, I love when I learn about new urban legends or like scary stories that I've never heard of where like, the majority of the ones that we know and love are ones. Yeah. And like ones that we've grown up knowing about, since. Right.
So for those of us who don't know, and those of us who only half pay attention when they listen to podcasts, please enlighten us as to the myth of Spring, or maybe truth. Who knows? Of Spring-Heeled Jack.
Yeah. So Spring-Heeled.
Healed.
Spring-Heeled. My Southerner's coming out tonight.
Let me clutch my pearls. Okay, tell me. I'm not wearing pearls, for the record.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I am, and a $6,000 dress that I got at Nordstrom. I don't even know.
You tried.
I don't even know enough fancy stores to pretend.
Yep, she's on a Walmart budget, y'all.
Sometimes I can afford Target. All right.
Okay.
Tell us about
Spring-Heeled Jack. Actually started back in the 1830s, and he was basically like this supposed assailant that would like knock at people's doors, and as soon as they would like answer them, he would like scratch them or claw their clothes off, and if it was a woman, like they would like basically like try to attack her and sort of assault her, and then like they would like he would disappear. Yeah.
That's really rude.
Exactly.
He
And
sounds
he
like a
supposedly
very rude man.
yeah, and like he supposedly had like blue flaming eyes
I thought you were
and
gonna say hair, and I was like, that does not sound very scary.
you know, his nickname was Hades. It's fine from Hercules. But no, so like these like this mysterious Jack, you know, popped up everywhere, you know, in London and other parts of
Is that the main area? Like, is that where it started?
I think it started around like I know that like the last place that he showed up supposedly was like Liverpool, so maybe he traveled. So
I
you know,
mean,
he was a roamer.
He wants to see the countryside.
Exactly.
He can't stay in London all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was just really interesting to see. Like, I don't know. It was just crazy to think that we haven't heard anything about it since, and then it just kind of like it died out in those like, you know, from 1930 to or 1830 to 1900s.
Those are very different time periods.
You know, just a little bit.
I had never heard of it until Lore, which is a great podcast. You should check it out.
Plug.
Plug. But I never heard of it till Lore, and then I usually listen to my podcast while I'm like driving to and from Tennessee and Illinois.
Same.
So like I'll be like, wait, what did they say? Whatever. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing that I did see within that was like there was also like some people wanting to tie it to Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
And which obviously Jack the Ripper is such an interesting topic and
like
has so much
completely
baggage in it.
Especially because we all know that I believe it was H.H. Holmes, but that's
Exactly.
That's a story for a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it's crazy to think that, we obviously other people grew up with these, urban legends, and like this is one that obviously has probably been passed down.
Well, it's such a difference between here and Europe because we're such a young country that a lot of our lore is a lot more modern.
Yeah.
Whereas like Celtic folklore, Germanic folklore, like it goes back so far.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is mine. I find it so interesting.
Wait, why is he called Spring-Heeled Jack?
Because I forgot about the best part. Okay, so sorry. Other than the flaming blue eyes,
I keep thinking you're gonna say hair, and it's really funny to
it's
me.
because you're thinking of Hades.
Hercules is my favorite movie.
Yes. Okay. So he would also like jump, and he would just like jump over buildings.
Sorry.
So
I'm thinking of him with flaming blue hair just jumping over buildings and fences.
Yeah.
And it's really funny in my brain.
Yep. So yeah, he would after he would like attack or whatever, he would jump over the building and like get away.
So are there any like theories as to what he is? Or just
No.
like he's a thing?
Literally,
that's
he's just a
around?
thing. Some people thought he was like a superhuman that was just able to scale walls really quickly. And
Spider-Man?
yeah, pretty much like Spider-Man of England, That's actually where the Spider-Man lore originated. Completely false, y'all.
Yeah,
But
don't. Like we said, we are not qualified to talk about any of this.
Exactly.
So please take nothing we say seriously. Okay, is that all? Anything else?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, unless you have any questions, I will try to answer.
Questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah.
Well, I'm very concerned about this blue hair nonsense.
Blue eyes.
Fine. Okay, so my first one is the Black-Eyed Children. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, well,
I'm so
to be
ooh.
totally honest with you guys, I definitely picked it because I love Supernatural. I'm actually wearing my Supernatural shirt right now. And in Supernatural, if you watch it, when people get possessed by demons, their eyes turn black. So that's just like, I was like, okay, cool, like Black-Eyed Children, whatever. So the first report of these was in 1996, so this legend is as old as I am, so very new. I'm a baby.
She's such an infant.
I'm an infant. But I took lovely notes here at 3 a.m. while I was at work. And okay, so essentially, what it is they're these children with like black eyes, no like color in their iris, and they like accost people at night to ask for help. And the first...
Are their eyes always black then?
Yes. Because like they only show up at night.
As if children aren't terrifying enough.
That's
Okay,
why I picked
cool.
this, because kids are always terrifying.
Especially at night.
Oh, absolutely. I hate them. I punt them when I find them. Sorry to anybody that's ever trusted their children with me. So, I'm just kidding. I don't beat up children. I'm actually a great babysitter. So, the original, like the very first case was in Abilene, Texas, which sounds really familiar, but I don't remember why, because like I don't know, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Have you been to Abilene, Texas?
No, I've never been to Texas. It just sounds like I feel like somebody either that like I've heard of or like there's a song about it.
I mean, probably.
Probably.
We
Anyway,
are in
doesn't
Tennessee.
matter.
There's
Doesn't
probably a
matter.
song about Texas.
So in Abilene, Texas, in 1996, Brian Bethel was leaving a movie theater, and he got into his car, and he was like sitting at the curb, and these two children came up, and they like knocked on his window, and they were like, "Hey, mister, we were trying to go to the movie, but we realized we forgot our money at home. Like, can you give us a ride home?" And he was like kind of freaked out, and he didn't know why. Like, there was just this like feeling of foreboding, and like they just kept like they kept knocking, and they were like, "Hey, mister, like it's okay, like but we can't come in until you say it's okay." And so he just was like really freaked out, and he noticed that they were like super pale, and then he noticed that like their eyes were black. And the minute he noticed that their eyes were black, they got really aggravated and aggressive and started like knocking harder on his windows and being like, "We're not gonna hurt you, like let us in, we can't come in unless you say
Oh my
say we
gosh.
can." So he like threw his car in reverse to get away from them, and then like started driving off, and when he looked back, they were just gone, like they weren't there. And so
No,
yeah.
thank you.
And they're like, there are theories that like they're demons or they're aliens of some sort. Like I always fall more in like the demon side of things than the alien side of things, because like I feel like if aliens were here, they'd be like, "Yo, you suck. Let's take this planet." But like it said that like it's always at night, and it's always like when somebody is alone in their car or their house, and they come knocking on the doors or the
good.
windows asking for help. And every time when people notice that their eyes are like black, they get really aggravated and like really aggressive. And then when they
And aggregated.
They get aggregated. And
They
like,
just ride that John Deere all the way home.
What?
Aggregation. Farming. You don't know anything about
No,
that, do you?
I am not from the sticks. Sorry.
I grew up like driving a John Deere.
That's not helping your case.
Sorry.
And so when they can't get in, they just disappear. So that is just really interesting to me, because children are terrifying and black eyes are very scary. And there's that one movie from like the 60s where it's like, oh, Children of the Damned. I've never seen it, but their like eyes glow and they're like evil.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've never
Is
seen
it anything like oh shoot, I just forgot her name.
Well, that's not helpful.
I know. What is that? Okay, I might have to refer to our friend Kelsey, who's also in here. Have you seen the literal music videos?
No.
Okay.
I've seen literal trailers.
Oh.
Have you seen literal music videos?
Yeah.
You can talk, it's okay.
Well, apart from that one.
Oh, the turn around bright eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like in that music video, she has like children with these like glowing eyes.
What's the
that's
name
true.
of that song?
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes,
There we go.
Totally Close.
Boom.
Yes.
Total Eclipse. Of the
Yeah, it's like
Heart.
that. But those are like grown men. They're not. Are they just children?
Well, that's true. They're like
Well,
school
because it
people.
says turn around bright eyes.
Oh
But,
yeah.
like,
Never
in-
mind. Don't pay attention to me.
Yeah. So
In the
no.
very end, the kid's eyes glow too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my first.
Sorry. I tried.
This is not a music podcast. I'm gonna need you to take that down a notch. Yeah, so that was my first one. I remember seeing this a while ago and people being like, "Oh, like it's like supernatural," and me being like, "Okay, cool, I love supernatural." So that was, and I found all of these on like, I don't even remember what the name of the site was. I could have written it down. It's fine.
Just the Google.
The Google.
If you go on the Google.
Yeah, and you just type in urban legends, you'll find it.
Yep, on the Google.
On the Google.
Kind of like the Facebook.
Okay, what's your next one?
So my next one is actually one that I grew up sort of knowing about and not really realizing that it was like kind of a legend of sorts. I'm kind of going in a time order from oldest to newest urban legend. Anyways, sorry.
Alright.
Sarah's giving me a look as to like shut up and say it already. So
Nobody cares when they happened.
sorry, I mean, you know, well, just kind of like I realized it today. Whatever. It has no like actual,
Significance.
yeah, whatever.
Nothing you say does.
I mean, typically, yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Gremlins.
Oh,
Not the 80s movie.
I've never seen it.
I know you haven't, and we need to fix that.
But like the ones that like get on your plane.
Yes.
I only know about them because of The Simpsons.
They're actually like the one thing that I did not write down, but yeah. But Gremlins actually started like, I mean, of course, once planes started kind of flying around, the fighter
Planes got on up there in the air.
Yeah, they were invaded the Gremlins area.
What is this accent
I don't
you're doing
know.
tonight?
So yeah, and during World War II, these pilots would, have these reports of like these creature things out on the wings, like either tampering with their plane.
It was me.
I mean, you do kind of look like a gremlin. So, but yeah, so like Charles Lindenberg even like wrote about it in his book, that he saw gremlins and he like never wanted to talk about it. And, it was one of those crazy things, but, Twilight Zone had an episode about it, which obviously it's the famous episode with, William Shatner.
You mean like 10 other episodes that have William Shatner?
I mean,
in them?
okay, when I think of Twilight Zone episodes, I think of 2 episodes. Okay, so I think of first, there's a woman on the... there's something on the... Sorry.
There's a woman churning butter.
Obviously, first of all, when you say Twilight Zone, I automatically think of Bridesmaids. That's what I think about, actually. There's a colonial woman on the wing, just churning butter. No. So the first one that I think about is William Shatner seeing the thing out on the wing of the plane, which actually is supposed to be a gremlin.
Okay.
Second,
I don't think I've seen that one. Like
What?
I can almost picture the scenes in my mind, but I don't know if I've seen the whole episode or just like scenes from it.
Yeah, and then the second one I always think of is the weird faced people, where they do all the plastic surgery.
Oh, have you ever seen the Talking Tina one?
No.
No, I am Talking Tina, and I don't like you. It's about a talking doll that starts murdering people.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, watch it. It's great.
Okay.
They did a Simpsons parody of that one too.
The Simpsons literally has like done everything
Because
and
The
also
Simpsons
predicted stuff.
The Simpsons is older than me, so.
True. Is it older than me?
How old are you?
26.
What year were you born?
1990. I didn't think about that for a second.
I think The Simpsons started in 90
Let's Google
or
it.
91 because they started on the late night show.
Oh yeah,
So
it is
they-
older than me. It started in December of 1989.
Okay, 89.
Anyways, so back to my story.
1989. Sorry, you got to sing, so I had to throw it in there too.
Oh man, that song.
Anyways.
Anyways, Twilight Zone had an episode. The Looney Tunes had an episode where Bugs Bunny was also dealing with a gremlin.
Yeah, they're very really
They're very like World War II, like
ubiquitous thing.
yeah.
I'm an English major.
I know you are.
Thank you, bro.
You're gonna like use all these
Actually, if I didn't
big words.
use
I'm
that
just gonna
word
like
right,
Google.
Please don't email me and tell me I didn't. Let me sound smart.
Email me and let me know.
We're gonna have the same email address.
Yep,
So.
this is true. You can tweet at me. No. Anyways, so Bugs Bunny had an episode of it. But the one thing that I love, and as you've said already, I'm gonna tie a lot of things to Disney.
Yeah.
So in the 1940s, Disney proposed to do a Gremlins movie that was about a pilot in World War II who made friends with the Gremlins. And they like helped fix his plane, and
Disney, you gotta make everything nice.
Exactly. And it ended up getting scrapped, and they wrote a book instead, and it was published. It was a child's book, yeah.
Like a children's book, or like a chapter book, or like a novel, or like
it was like a children's book.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so it didn't really go anywhere, and I guess they might be doing something with it soon. I haven't really
so
like.
this was all so you could talk about it.
Yes.
Disney movie? Oh,
so
good
I would
Lord.
love for them to do something with it, but I guess we'll
Caleb
see.
doesn't actually work for Disney.
I just really want to.
He does. Maybe this will help.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah. So I mean, I just think that this like whole legend of like these little people, the wee folk as they're also called.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the wee folk are also what they call
fairies. Yeah. Which I found interesting because I was like, well, I mean, okay, I guess these could be like bad fairies?
Well, actually, traditionally, a lot of fairies are really malicious. They are not all Tinkerbell, Caleb.
Oh, I knew that.
I mean, Tinkerbell's kind of a jerk, but, like, she doesn't murder people.
She tried to, though.
Yeah, well, she tried to, but she didn't succeed. So,
True.
like, really, are you a bad person unless you actually succeed in murdering someone?
I don't know. Probably not, because I've probably tried to kill people before.
Email us and tell us what you think.
We'll start a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
But if Sarah starts it, nobody will answer it. Anyways.
Yeah, does anybody watch Prince of Egypt with me? Only 4 people answered.
She's still not over it. But yeah, so they were also called the Wee Folk, which is obviously when I read that I was like, well, that's what they call fairies though. Mm-hmm. So this tie-in between
an American legend?
They are not. Oh. They originated over in Europe. Okay. So again,
well, it's
this whole Gaelic kind of tie-in.
Yeah, because fairies or the Fae, as those of us who are familiar with them call them. Mm-hmm. It encompasses a lot of things like gnomes. Mm-hmm. No, not gnomes. Yeah, gnomes, which were originally sex slaves. Fun fact.
That's fun. And like terrifying.
Gnomes, like
Travelocity gnomes.
No.
Okay.
Like Harry Potter gnomes.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking of like Travelocity gnome.
No, like original gnomes, like garden.
What would you like to do now, master?
Garden gnomes were made because of the legends of gnomes. Okay. And they were like part of fairy. Like there's Kelpies and dark fae and light fae and everything else in between. So it makes sense that they could potentially be part of that.
Well, I just looked it up. And gremlin is derived from the Old English word greme, Greme, which means to vex and annoy.
Well, I mean, tearing my plane apart while it's flying is pretty annoying.
It's very vexing and annoying, you know.
So are there like, other than them being called the Wee Folk, did you see anything about like what they could potentially be? Like, are there fears?
I didn't really see anything other than like these like little
just
creatures
okay.
that had like hair and
gnomes, like
yeah.
No, The Simpsons did one of their Treehouse of Horrors did a part, and it was always on the school bus, and Bart sort of saw it. Anyway. Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that they weren't. I just assumed they were like an American legend because I'm American, and that's what we do here.
Because everything was made in America.
Yeah. Where England came from, right? I'm just kidding. Please don't kill me.
Go ahead, do it.
British friends who might potentially be listening to this, I am just kidding. You are in a much better spot than we are right now.
This is very true.
Okay, is that all for that one?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't feed them after midnight. Oh.
Is there something specific you're not supposed to feed them otherwise?
No, I mean that's a reference to the 80s movie, so you'll understand it once we watch it. So.
Wasn't it? Okay. We are both huge fans of RuPaul's Drag Race,
yes.
So I apologize in advance if we bring up a lot of references, but do you remember the wedding challenge when Jocelyn did makeup and she did it on the African-American groom to make him a bride, and they said he looked like the female gremlin?
Yes. And unfortunately he did.
That's what I think of when I hear about the Gremlin movie.
Good.
Okay, anyway, so my second one is a mix of an urban legend and a conspiracy theory.
Ooh.
And I had forgotten that I had heard about this, but I listened to another podcast called Tanis, which is another great one. Another plug, you should listen to it. And they had mentioned it briefly because they talk a lot about, it's a story podcast. And it's called Polybius, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Polybius?
Polybius? No, it's Bius. So I would say
I
Polybius. Yeah, I was like, you don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so it was in 1981. It was a really rare arcade game that supposedly started popping up in arcades in Portland. And it became like super addictive to people. And like, apparently it was just like, it was like a normal like puzzle shoot 'em up game. Like, I don't remember what the name of it was called. Like the one that like actually is like a thing that stayed around, but it's like, you know, the little triangle like in space, and you like go pew pew and like try and shoot the other things.
Yeah, like Galaga.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like that's kind of what like it supposedly was like, and so it was like a plain black machine with just the letters, like the name in bright letters on it, and people like got super addicted to it and would like line up like huge lines to play it. And
nerds.
well, hey, people didn't have computers in the 80s. They
That's
had to
so
go
true.
out to play their
I
games,
know.
okay?
Spend all the quarters.
They couldn't stay at home all night on Fridays like you do and play games until 4 a.m., okay?
It's fine.
But, okay, so here's the creepy thing, is it started causing seizures
Ooh.
and aneurysms, and I made a list that, like, it supposedly started causing horrible nightmares, nausea, convulsions, vomiting, headaches, blackouts, hallucinations, and sometimes suicide. And
Dang.
yeah, and people were reporting that when they would play it, they would hear like a woman crying, or like would have they would start seeing like quote unquote grotesque faces out of the corner of their eye, or there would be like subliminal that's what we're gonna call it. Subliminal messaging that they like that they would see like flash that said things like kill yourself.
Ooh.
And supposedly men in black suits would come collect data from it and like adjust settings, but like never take any money from it, and then after a month it just disappeared. Like,
It was aliens.
it just, well, they think that it was like some sort of government subliminal messaging like
Weird.
test thing and like mind control thing. And like I said, it
Wait,
was
where was this popping up? Like, where was it showing up?
Portland.
Portland?
Yeah. And
Aliens.
yes, because Portland and aliens, they go together like
I mean,
bread and butter.
yeah.
Or it was Bigfoot.
It was Bigfoot that was behind this.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
This is
you
the
know
plot
him
twist.
and his mind control, that Bigfoot.
That's why we never see him. He controls us.
Yes. But, so, then one machine reappeared in 1998, but, like, within, like, a week was gone again. And, like, you can't find them anywhere.
Can you find pictures of them?
I don't know. I forgot. Like, I didn't look it up because, like I said, it was 3 a.m. And, like, this is an urban legend, so, like, who knows if this was actually a real game or if this is something that just got... Like, it was only around for a month. It was in the 80s. It's not like people could just pull out their cell phones and be like, snap a pic. Like, you know?
Let me get my Polaroid.
So the company that supposedly made it was called... Okay, I've taken 1 semester of German, so let me see if I can pronounce it.
This is going to be fun.
Zenus Lotion? No, not lotion. I don't even know. It's SINNESLO with the 2 little dots that I can't think of the name of right now. Yes, umlauts. Thank you, Kelsey.
Umlauts.
Umlauts.
Those lots.
SCHEN. And in German it means sense deletion.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah. So, like, they mentioned...
I feel like the X-Files probably has an episode about this.
Probably. They mentioned it on Tannis, and I just, like, was like... It just, like, when I was reading about it, it just kind of, like, creeped me out inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just this idea that these people just were like, hey, I just want to have a chill day at the arcade. And then, like, some of them killed themselves. Like... it's insane to me.
And I sometimes feel like that after playing Miss Pac-Man, so that's fine. Like, when Centipede just, pisses me off to the extreme. I'm just like, oh, do I kill myself now or later?
Do you remember that episode of Friends when Phoebe bought the Miss
Yes.
Pac-Man machine?
But that is totally me.
Yes. Anyway, so that was, I just was like, granted, like I said, it was 3 a.m. I was sitting alone in the lobby of my dorm, and I was like, this is spoopy. I'm scared, but it's okay because I was watching the Golden Girls while I did it, so that helped.
Oh, good.
Anyway, so
I wonder if there's any conspiracy theories surrounding the Golden Girls.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I actually have a theory.
Okay, well, save that for
okay.
the end.
We have to make it note.
We have 2 more things that we have to get through.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you know that, like, all the ages are different, so, like, Sophia, the actress that played Sophia, was actually not the oldest.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, she's in, like, you know, like, the flashbacks that they'll have to, like, picture it, Brooklyn, 19...
I've only gotten to, like, one of those.
Well, when they have flashbacks to, like, when, like, Dorothy was in, like, her, 40s and, like, they're still living in New York, that's actually how old she is, like, without all of her old age makeup. I'm pretty sure... I think B. Arthur was the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think B. Arthur was the oldest. But yeah, she was not the oldest. So it's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I'm watching the Golden Girls for the first
time.
And so far, I'm enjoying it. I'm only in season 2 right
The
now.
first time. I watched 2 seasons in 2 days, and I've seen all of it, and he's watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm a very
all right.
bad pop culture kid.
Yes, you are. All right, what's your next
Anyways,
one?
so my last one, you're gonna know this one right away, as everyone does, is the Hookman of Lover's Lane.
Okay, I love the Hookman stories.
I know, because like they're so interesting because it's one that like I've heard so many different variations of.
Yeah, Supernatural did one.
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also one that like you hear different versions of.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes the Hookman isn't a part of it.
Well, especially being in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like, okay, quick sidebar. One of my friends back in the day when I was still getting driven around by my mama lived about 45 minutes away from where I grew up, and so we would meet in the middle, like when I would go to spend like the weekend there or something, and we would meet at this huge grain silo like out in the middle of nowhere. And the first time they like weren't there yet, and it was dark, and I was like, hurry, I see the Hookman coming, quick,
Oh
get
my
here.
gosh.
So we called it after that. We just called it the Hookman's house, and we'd be like, all right, I'm coming over.
Absolutely terrifying.
I'm coming over. Do you want to meet at the Hookman's house?
That
That was my sidebar.
Dang. Huh.
Please resume.
Okay, well, for those of you who don't know the story of the Hookman of Lover's Lane, or the Hookman legend, whatever, so basically, or you just don't know anything about urban legends.
Or you don't leave the house, or you're living under a rock. How are you listening to this podcast?
I don't know.
If you live under a rock, please tell us how you're listening to this.
Patrick Starr, please let us know. Anyways, I what?
You're gonna say Patrick something else.
Patrick Stump?
Nope.
Okay, I have no idea.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. But yeah, okay, so anyways, so the urban legend goes that these two kids are going out, you know,
They're
and
necking.
they're necking. They're, you know, they're
car.
going together
In the car?
in the car.
The car park?
No, not in the car park.
On Lover's Lane.
Yeah, on Lover's Lane, or other variations have them just pulling off from the side of the road out in the
somewhere that's
country
like-
that's secluded. There's trees. There's always a tree. There
Al-
always has to be a tree. Sometimes there's a tree, I guess.
There always has to be a tree sometimes.
Yes,
always.
always.
There's always a tree.
There's always a tree.
Sometimes.
But basically what happens is they are making out, whatever, there's a noise. One variation that I've read had them running out of gas. And so the guy
Sure.
Right.
Ran out of gas.
gas.
Don't fall for it, ladies.
Exactly.
Or fellas, whoever's driving.
Yep. Or in the passenger seat, whatever. So then the guy gets out and he's like, hey, lock the car. Like, I'll be right back. Famous last words. If you're a fan of Scream, you know never to say that.
Unless you're going to the store.
Right. Well, sometimes. But basically, he never returns. And in some variations of this, the girl hears a scraping noise on top of the car, and it ends up being the boyfriend who's been killed. And the Hookman has hoisted him above the car on the tree limb, and his blood is now like all over the top of the car and whatever. The other variation is that even if they do run out of gas, or if they ran out of gas, the guy would go and get gas, come back.
The girl would be dead.
No, surprisingly not. They would.
The girl would be missing. The
They-
girl would be
no.
pregnant. Oh, okay. I'm bad.
When he would get back to the car, she'd be like, I heard these like tapping and scraping noises. And so they would get gas in the car, whatever. They'd like get to her house, and when he like goes around the car to like let her out, like the hook hand would be attached to the car.
Oh, they pulled it off.
Yeah, I guess they like, but basically
Poor
like,
Hookman.
yeah, poor Hookman, like
He
they
was
ripped his hand
Maybe
off.
he was just like, hey.
He was like,
can
hey,
I
I'm lost in
help?
the woods.
Or like, hey, do you need
Yeah,
help?
do you
And
need
then
help?
He got caught.
Exactly.
And then they started driving off, and he got
Yep.
stuck.
So technically,
So
this is
he's the
actually a
victim in
tale.
that one.
Yeah, he's a victim. This tale is actually like to bring awareness to those who need help. It is not. It is not an urban legend of like, right.
To pirates.
Yep.
It's actually a warning for pirates.
Yep. It's actually a horror story for pirates. No, but I think it's interesting that stories like that are told, and not so much anymore. I mean, I think really the last time that something like this was really brought up, as far as hook
yeah,
hand,
like-
would be like, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Because that was a hook
That was
hand.
90s, right?
Yeah. Oh man, such a good movie. But basically it was a whole story and a trope of, you know, premarital sex, you know, of like don't go
spooky.
out because, you know,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Traditionally, urban legends were to teach lessons.
yeah,
That's what all Grimm's fairy tales are for.
exactly. Yeah. So like, I think it's interesting that like,
That
you
it
know,
kind
this,
of is like across.
yeah. And the fact that like, you know, we grew up knowing about so many different other ones as far as, you know, just this one Hookman,
Right.
Lover's Lane trope of, you know, somebody being killed or missing a hand. So
No offense to anybody missing hands.
yeah, exactly. So I
are
will
all
help you.
inclusive here.
Yep.
we will help you. Yes, we will not run off with your
We will
hand.
not drive off with your hand attached to the vehicle, except for I might because I'm that mean.
I'm not. Hopefully it wasn't like attached. It was just like
A pop off.
Yeah.
Sorry, this just made me think of. Okay, did you ever watch Dancing with the Stars when Heather Mills
I watched
was?
like 5 episodes
Okay.
of Dancing with the Stars because
So Heather Mills, is that
who was
her name?
that?
She's Paul McCartney's ex-wife.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Is she
She's the one
with the
that.
fake leg?
Yes. So I watched that
I did- I
entire
think I did
season.
see that season.
I've never watched an entire season of Dancing with the Stars before, because I think it's weird. Celebrities
And
dancing.
it's all like
Why?
D-list celebrities, except
That's
for
true.
Leah Remini. She's my girl. I didn't realize she's probably considered a D-list celebrity, but I love her. Please adopt me. Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that entire season, hoping that one of the dances that Heather Mills was in, that her leg would fly off.
That's horrible.
It never happened, and I was so sad.
Well, because it's not like it's just like from her knee down. Like it's her whole
It's
leg.
like her whole
isn't it?
leg.
I was amazed she could do this season.
Yeah.
Like, I was really impressed.
Well, maybe it's not her whole leg. Maybe it
Maybe it's,
is
like,
like
from
at the
the knee
knee.
down.
Yeah, I just really wanted her leg to go flying into
You're
the
a
audience.
horrible person.
I know I am, but it's one of those things that I think it would be really funny. That's just me. Anyways, what's your last one?
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Detachable arms, legs, heads,
Nothing detachable.
Okay.
Nope, we're done with that.
squids,
Oh. That's an octopus.
octopus, whatever.
Um,
Fun fact, octopi.
Octopuses is also correct, but it sounds weird.
Really?
Yeah, they changed it.
Gross. Octopi, when they are mating, rip off the male octopi, rip off their penis, and throw it at the female. Fun fact of the week.
Things we don't teach our children about animals in kindergarten.
Yeah. I learned about that in college.
From me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, only I had room in my brain where all these stupid facts are that I don't need for life. Anyway, okay, so my next one is, like, I don't know if I necessarily consider it an urban legend. It mainly was a means for me to lead into another topic that I wanted to ask you about.
good.
Okay, so, you know, there's, like, the whole, like, every crime show ever has people walking through the woods and all of a sudden there's a body. And it's like, what is it? Like a serial killer? Like what?
Were they lost?
Have you ever heard of a body farm? Okay,
I
it
don't
sounds
know.
super creepy, and it kind of is, but it's for scientific research.
Oh.
And people donate their body. They did one on bones. People donate their body to science, and then they have, like, it's, like, they set up this huge space where it's, like, they put certain corpses in water. They put certain corpses just, like, out in the sun. They, like, shallow. So it's, like, people that are, like, studying forensic science or anything can, like, study it.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently we have one. UTK has one. University of Tennessee Knoxville has one, and I guess it's like, I don't know if people actually did stumble across it or if somebody was just like, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? But the reason I put this on here is because, have you ever wondered? No, have you ever hoped that when you're on a hike, you're gonna stumble across a dead body?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I always have, and that's why I was like, oh my god, this would be so cool. And, like, I know it wouldn't. Like, logically, I'm like, Sarah, you don't want that. That would be awful. Can you imagine? Like, you'd be so drunk.
you would
What
be
are
in
gonna
therapy for the
do?
rest of your life.
Yeah, I already need it.
I
but
know.
Let's just add one more thing. What are you gonna do? Like, if you find a dead body, like, what reasonably are you gonna do? But, like, it's just, like, there's a little part of me that, like, I don't go out in nature a lot. We all know that. But, like,
very
when
true.
I do, I'm like, man, there's like a little pond over there. I wonder if there's a dead body. Like,
There's like a 5% chance that you're gonna maybe see a dead body.
less than that. Like,
Yeah,
maybe
probably
like a
less than that.
2%.
Well, I
chance.
mean, like with you, for you.
because I'm looking.
Yeah.
But like Bones.
And you're never outside, so.
That's true. Bones has lied to me because, people find dead bodies everywhere in Bones.
They really do.
I've never found one. It's not fair.
Yeah.
And like Bones is just like, hey, going for a walk, and there's a dead body. They found one in a giant chocolate bar in one episode.
A chocolate bar?
A giant chocolate bar.
Like
it was like a candy company's like anniversary or something.
That sounds like some Batman villainy.
They made a giant chocolate bar.
Interesting.
And there was a dead body inside. And it was like in its own soup of like decomposition.
Oh, that's disgusting.
But anyway, so you have hoped that you would
yeah,
find. Okay, that's
I
the main
mean,
reason it's really not an urban legend.
I mean, if you think about it, it's not necessarily an urban legend. It's a trope of an urban legend, I guess.
Yeah, of like somebody like going out for a hike in the woods and finding a dead body.
Yeah.
But like
I have always secretly wanted,
I've not so secretly wanted to. Like I've just wanted to. And like every time I'm out, I'm kind of like, oh, what's over there? Oh man, what's that? Oh, it's a piece of paper. Like
yeah.
I've never even found like a dead squirrel.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I'm outside and hiking a lot more than you.
Gross.
But yeah, I've
sit in my
seen
room with
those.
my blackout curtains all the time.
Well, then, like growing up, because I lived near the woods, I would always go back on the trails and like explore over the summer.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were times where I know that there were definitely homeless people living in the woods, and like as a kid, we were even told like not to go in the woods at a certain time because homeless people supposedly were living in the woods near my house.
Probably.
And I guess the city like sent out a notice, and I was like, oh, whatever. I don't care.
Classic Caleb.
Exactly. And I ended up like coming across like
A homeless person?
not a homeless person, but like a place where it looked like people had not necessarily a shanty town, a shanty home, I guess you would call it, of like where somebody had been obviously living. And it was really, really creepy and terrifying.
Yeah, that's why you were told not to go in the woods.
I know, but I was also like told not to go in the woods because there was supposedly like a mountain lion or something like that. There were a lot of made up things that my parents were trying to like tell me that were in the woods.
Again, urban legends to keep you in line.
Exactly. I mean, Sasquatch was in the woods as well.
Probably, actually.
Yeah.
No, actually, you grew up in Pekin. That was probably just a very hairy person.
I mean, that's true. But yeah, so like all these things that trying to keep me out of the woods, but I was like, yeah.
Back in the day, I would have been scared. Now, if somebody was like, don't go in there, Sasquatch is there, I'd be like, I'm coming! Wait!
Yeah.
Bigfoot!
Exactly, because I mean,
I think
Sasquatch...
Bigfoot is a kind and gentle creature. Just don't mess with its young.
True. I mean, yeah, well, I don't know. How do you really feel like Sasquatch, Bigfoot...
Would be nice.
No, is real?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for another podcast.
I mean, like, I would like to discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There are a lot of theories. I did a project on this, okay?
In, like, high school?
No, like, freshman year of college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I took a class that was called Problem Solving is Murder, which is the one with that horrible professor. But we got to do one cool project that was, like, we had to do, like, a real mystery, quote-unquote, and then, like, a fun one, and we picked Bigfoot, and there are a lot of different theories.
That's amazing. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, another note from where Sarah and I grew up, we
also
had...
Kelsey.
And Kelsey.
Shout out to the Peorians
What
out
up?
there.
So we had this back road that as a kid, we would take it home every night, going to and from town and church and whatever. Going to and from town into the town on a horse and buggy. Not really. We had a car. Anyways.
God, it would have been so much more exciting if you had let them think you were Caleb is actually Amish.
Surprise!
He's blindfolded right now, so he can't see that he's using technology. He thinks we're just talking.
Yep. Yeah, they're just very, very bright candles. But no, so we had this road called Coal Hollow Road.
That just sounds creepy.
Yeah. And so there had been many, many reports back in the 70s that Bigfoot was there. And they would call it...
I did not know this.
Yeah, so they would call him Cohomo.
Okay.
The Coal Hollow Monster. Cohomo.
It sounds so much cooler before you explain it.
Sorry.
Like it was like, oh, is that like an ancient Native American phrase?
Nope, it's just East Peorian phrase.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Cohomo was something that I grew up with, and like late at night, it would be like 9:00. We'd be driving home from church, and my parents would be taking me and my sister home on this road, and they would like hit the brakes, and like my mother would like fling open the passenger door and go and just like scream, and like she'd be like, "Oh no, Sasquatch!" Like they would like terrify me and my sister. And
amazing.
yeah, and so like I grew up, with that legend and whatever, and so yeah, anytime I'm back home and take Cole Hollow, I'm always a little scared that
I mean,
Kohomo's gonna show
I
up.
grew up in the ghetto. The only thing I was worried about was crack houses.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I don't. Oh, okay. So they did this. You know how the History Channel will do those stupid things? It's like, we found something, and then at the end they're like, just kidding, it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Kelsey was there. I was watching, and like I knew realistically, okay, it was like Finding Bigfoot, and they had all this supposed footage, and like. Okay, like realistically, I figured, I was like, maybe it's dramatic reenactments, and then at the end they're like, we didn't actually find Bigfoot, and I almost started crying, and I was like, I wasted all this time, what, does this mean nothing I believe in is real? And I was like got depressed at the end of it, because I was
Oh my
like, oh my
gosh.
god, like I thought there was actually going to be some sort of proof that something I believed in was real, and there wasn't, and I was like depressed for like 2 days. Kelsey was there, I was so upset, like I was
Man.
pissed, and like I was like, I mean, like, I knew the footage wasn't real because I highly doubt that Bigfoot actually looks like the thing on the jerky packaging, but still.
So like, would you like on a level of like 1 to 10, 10 being like super into Bigfoot crazy
Like,
fandom?
how much do I believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah, like where are you on like as I would do research? Are you like one of the crazy fanatics that would like potentially go out in the woods and like
No, because I hate
look
the
for
woods.
Bigfoot poop?
No, because I hate the woods.
Okay.
But, like, I would say, like, an 8.5. Because, obviously, there's always the chance that, like, it's not real. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like a lot of urban legends, like, there's so many people who have, like, have nothing to gain from saying things because everybody thinks they're insane. Like, most people are like, oh, well, they just want the media attention. And I'm like, but why would they say anything? Because people think they're crazy. Like, there are a lot of very normal people who have claimed to see these things, like the Loch Ness Monster. 10 out of 10. 100 million% believe that the Loch Ness Monster exists.
I don't know how I feel about the Loch Ness.
That's just because I'm terrified of open water because you don't know what's down there.
Nessie.
The ocean is terrifying.
The ocean is terrifying, but technically the Loch Ness Monster just lives in a lake.
I know, but it's a very big lake.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, that is all just like
That was a
rabbit
very, very,
trailing
very long tangent.
that was a
Dead
very
bodies to
weird place from
Bigfoot.
dead bodies to Bigfoot, but that's for another time. So we talked about maybe doing this, but our friend Kelsey is here, and she loves horrible puns that she comes up with herself, and I would love for her to share one with you. So, Kelsey, why don't you come share one of your amazing puns with us?
Will be puntastic.
It'll be puntastic. This is Kelsey. Introduce yourself.
Hi,
Don't touch the
I'm
mic.
Kelsey.
Kelsey
and
Bucknam.
I wish that people called me Rapunzel, but nobody does. And
It took me a
Oh,
minute.
Wow, that's sad.
Wow.
Well, let's see. I should have been picking a good one.
I
but,
told you.
I guess I'll just do the one I ran by you earlier.
Yes, do it.
Came up with this one working hard at my desk job a couple years ago, and it just kind of flew into the corner of my mind. But, hey, Sarah, why did the nudist cancel her date?
Why?
Well, because she had nothing to wear. And yes, I recognize it's not really a pun, but it's still one of my really bad jokes that I'm proud of.
Yikes.
Thank you, Kelsey.
You're welcome.
She's our resident dad joke.
Yeah, exactly. Kelsey's gonna have the best dad jokes ever. Okay, so I think that's all for.
No,
Oh, wait, you had
I
your
need to
Golden- yes,
talk
your
about.
Golden Girls
Okay,
theory.
so
Sorry.
back to Golden Girls, and this is probably gonna add some more time. So if you want to stop listening now, that's fine.
No, don't stop listening. What's wrong with you? This is the first episode.
Because I'm about to go on a very weird.
Yeah,
very
well, if
weird
it's too
tangent.
weird, I
Okay.
control the editing, so
You better keep it in.
we'll see.
That's what she said. Anyways, sorry.
We're trying to be family friendly, sir.
Okay, so like I said, I am watching The Golden Girls for the very first time, and I keep seeing this overarching theme of Rose, and like her husband died while they were in bed together. She has another boyfriend or dude that she slept with, and then he dies, and then I think it happens again, but then it only happens twice?
once.
Okay.
She tells them that he died, but he doesn't actually die. She just tricks them.
Oh.
There's only twice. It's her husband and the one guy.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
then But then there's that lady
Yes.
that dies.
All of heart
af-
attacks.
Yes. So my theory for the Golden Girls is that Rose is actually a supervillain.
Okay, but
that
you've
she
only
is
gotten
also-
into season 2.
I know, and I'm excited to see her progress as a supervillain.
God.
And
You're
she is
so
going to be
disappointed when the ending isn't like full on like end of Buffy
just
showdown.
Rose just taking over. Where do they live?
Miami. Where all the old people go.
Well, yeah, but they also talk about Boca Raton a lot.
We talk about
So.
it like in one episode.
Yeah.
Are you on that episode? Wait, no, it does happen to 2 guys, I think.
Told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like obviously it's a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, well.
Rose kills people. And that's my theory.
Maybe, okay, but like, could
I mean,
she have the power and not know about it?
I mean,
Like, do you think it's
maybe.
because she loved her husband? Why would she kill him?
I don't
He
know.
didn't have any money.
She probably made her mad of some sort. I mean, technically nobody really technically made her mad except for the one lady.
Yeah.
Because she was
Yeah.
being a witch about the tree.
Yeah.
But
Tree witch.
but yeah, so that's my fan
Okay,
theory is
well,
that
let me
Rose is
know-
a supervillain.
Let me know if that holds on as you continue throughout this season.
I will. I will keep everyone updated on that.
Oh, goodness. I don't really think we can call her a supervillain because she's not very smart.
I mean, maybe she's a villain, a supervillain in the making.
Okay.
Because like right now, like she's figuring out her powers.
I think if she had it, it would be like what's the actress from the first and like 3rd season of American Horror Story who played the daughter in the first season? I don't know her name.
Oh, Tasia or
Whatever, yeah.
Talia
and
something.
when she was like when she was in Coven and she didn't know and she like had sex with that guy and he died.
Yes.
So maybe
See,
it's like that.
that's kind of what made me think of it because I was like, oh, Rose
That
is
doesn't mean
like,
she's a villain though if she doesn't know, if she doesn't mean to.
well, how do you kill people
Maybe,
for good?
okay, but like if it happened once and she didn't know that it was because of her power and then it happened again and she was like, oh man, maybe I'm the common denominator. And then she didn't even have to have sex with that lady for her to die.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, just let me know as you
Okay.
continue. We'll keep you updated.
I
I
still
know you're
think
fascinated out there to know.
about what I think of the Golden Girls and
Ooh, I just burped. I hope that audio
So
is in there.
classy.
I am the classiest of class. All right. So is that all? Do you have any more fan theories?
I
you
mean,
can
other than
tell
that,
us?
I am. Okay, so I figured out which Golden Girl I am. Do you know which one I am?
You're Sophia. We've
Yeah.
talked about this.
So other than
Which one
that,
do you think I am?
ooh, that's hard because you're kind of a mix between
Rose and Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll call her Doze. Dorothy and
No.
Rose.
No. That's horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's accurate. But there's
See?
that. I told you there's that episode where Sophia. Have you seen the one after they watched, Psycho?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh my
she
gosh.
comes in at the end with the knife,
I
and
was
I looked
crying
at
laughing
Kelsey
at that.
and said, "Yep,
Yep.
that's Caleb."
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is so something I would do.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, just super blunt, awesome,
Yeah.
old.
Not old yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the oldest one of our group. Sort of. No, I'm not.
Kelsey is.
Kelsey is. I act like I'm the oldest one in the group.
I don't know. I knit and wear grandma sweaters.
Well, that's true.
I don't go outside. All right. Anyway, so now, do you have anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you all of our information? We have
Oh yes.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram that I made in a rush right before we recorded this, so I
Mhm.
could claim our domain. Is Overreaching Pod at all? Well, I guess not on Facebook. It's just Overreaching with Caleb and Sarah. Instagram and Twitter is Overreaching Pod. You can follow us and tell your friends. And our email is overreachingpod@gmail.com.
Oh, you set that up too?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
look
on
at
it.
you. You can also
we-
follow our personal accounts.
Yes.
I am Caleb_Finley on Instagram and Caleb Finley on the Twitter.
I
don't have a
am
Facebook.
Caroline with a K, Karolline
She's special K.
Joy on Instagram, and Sarah Kara913 on Twitter, which may be getting changed. I couldn't get Caroline Joy. Someone else had it.
Why?
I don't know, but it's Sarah with an H. Kara, Kara 913. It might be changing. Who knows? On Twitter. And yes,
What's
follow
the
us.
913?
My birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and you can email us with questions, comments, or concerns. But please
topic ideas would be awesome too.
Yeah. Topic ideas would be wonderful. Things you're excited about, things your sister's excited about, things your dog's excited about,
things your cat's excited about.
I prefer cats. So if you could tell us what your cat's excited about,
you're gonna send us pictures of your animals.
Yes,
that's
but no
awesome
nudes.
too.
No nudes, please.
Yes, I would like your animals to be wearing clothes, please.
Yes, and our logo was designed by the lovely Jane Plesha, and our producer / co-editor is Anna McClure, who has been sitting over here making sure that we don't go too crazy. And we will be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
So,
thanks for listening.
thanks for listening.